Good morning. We will start second session on chapter Force and Laws of Motion. So in our previous class, we understood what is force, what are the different effects of force. We also understood about balanced and unbalanced force. So in balanced forces, the forces are subtracted. That means the magnitude is 0 and the object is not displaced from a position to another. Wherein in an unbalanced forces, the forces are actually added here, but in case if they are subtracted, the greater the amount of force, to that side the object is displaced. Like in tug of war, whoever applies the greater force, to that side the object will be displaced, right? In today's class, we will understand about laws of motion, and from which further we'll throw some more light on Newton's laws of motion. So laws of motion, when we talk about, it was Galileo Galilei who understood exactly what could be the laws of motion based on the theory of balanced and unbalanced forces. So according to his assumption and conclusion, objects move with a constant speed when no force acts on them. Why did he give this conclusion? Because now suppose if I take a spherical or a circular kind of a thing where I can put an object here into motion, and another one if I take an inclined plane, sorry, this is not an inclined one. If I take an inclined plane, how will be the motion of the object? Suppose if I leave the object here, what will happen to the object? The object is set into motion, right? So from here, with what force I leave the object goes back to this one and again comes back. It keeps oscillating, right? To and fro motion. Object move with a constant speed when no force act on them. True, there is no other force acting on the object. That is why it is able to move at a constant speed, right? Further, the speed reduces, object stops. Now that is different. What about in this position? Now in this position, what will happen if I leave the object here? Object moves with a constant speed. It comes because it is an inclined plane and goes to a very far distance in a linear motion. Till how far? That is, objects move with constant speed when no force acts on them, according to him. But if this was a theory, if no force was acting on the object, that means at any point of time, the object would have not stopped. It would be in the constant linear motion, right? But actually what happens? The object stops at a particular point. Why it stops? Because of the friction. Now, where can this be possible? Where there is no friction, the object can be continuously moving with a uniform speed without any disturbance. But due to friction and also due to some external forces, the object can come to rest. That is what I can tell here is, it is again correlating with balanced and unbalanced forces. Force of friction, force of air and many other forces are always acting upon the object. What type of forces? For the body to come to rest or the body to replace or displace, unbalanced forces act upon the object, right? So this was the laws of motion predicted by Galileo Galilei. Based on his laws about the object moves with a constant speed in a uniform motion until no force acts on them. Based on this, Newton gave his 3 laws of motion. First law of motion, second law of motion and third law of motion. In today's class, we will be studying about Newton's first law of motion. Newton's first law of motion is based upon inertia. Now what is this term inertia? First we understand. Every body continues to be in the state of rest or motion when no force acts on them. That means every body continues to be in the state of rest or motion. Now suppose this board, what do you feel? Is this board in rest or this board is constantly moving? This board is at rest, right? Suppose if I push it to this side or I just pull it to this side, what is happening with the board? The board is actually moving, correct? That means everybody continues to be in the state of rest. This board is at rest now. Or motion, when no force acts on them. Now, no force acts on them means, if you say that there is a very heavy wind blowing and it made the board to move, yes, that is something external thing acting. But no magic will happen, and if I tell the board to move, the board doesn't move, right? The board is at rest. The board started moving because there was some external force. That external force could be the force what I applied, the force what made the heavy wind or the heavy blown air made the board to move, since the board was very light. That means there is something external thing acting. Until unless every object around you will not move on its own, until unless some external thing will act on it. Even the object which is even moving further, the same here, objects move with a constant speed when no force acts on them. That means an object which is moving constantly, until unless something is acting on the object, it will not come to rest, right? So based on the Galileo's laws, Newton proposed his laws of motion, where the first law is called as Newton's first law of motion, or we also call that as law of inertia, because first law of motion is based on inertia. So inertia tells us every object continues to be in the state of rest or motion when no forces act on them. Rest. Now let's see what is the definition of Newton's first law of motion, which is also known as law of inertia. Every object continues to be in the state of rest or in the uniform motion along a straight line until it is compelled to change the state by applying external force, right? Until it is changed to state, compelled to change the state for applying external force. Now, just imagine yourself with both the legs in the bucket of water. Can you lift yourself? Of course, no, not possible to lift yourself. Both the legs in the bucket, right? And it is filled with water. You cannot lift yourself until unless externally somebody will come and lift you, right? Only then it is possible. So try to understand what do you mean by external thing. Somebody should help the object to move or to come to rest. Only then it will happen. So Newton's first law based on inertia tells us that every object continues to be in the state of rest or in the motion until unless it is compelled by some external force to change its position or motion. Now, Newton's first law, as it is dealt with inertia, there are two examples what we give on inertia. One is inertia of rest and another is inertia of motion. So this Newton's first law has some our everyday life situation examples where we deal with inertia of rest and inertia of motion. Let's look at those examples. So there are some our everyday life situation where we actually come across the Newton's first law examples, that is inertia of rest and inertia of motion, what it could be. I have just jotted down few examples. You can always refer the book or any other sources for many examples as well, right? A person standing in a bus falls backward when the bus starts moving suddenly. Similarly, a person standing in a bus or person sitting in a bus which is at rest, right? A bus is just at a halt, so you go and sit in the bus. Now suddenly the bus starts. What do you imagine if you are sitting or you are standing in a bus which is at still and suddenly the bus starts? What do? You actually move backward here. Try this situation anytime, anywhere. Why do you move backward? That's because your body is at rest and continues to be at rest until unless some external force is compelled to act upon it. That is, imagine now this is you, which you are sitting here. The bus is at rest, correct? So this is the bus. Now suddenly the bus starts moving. that means the bus started moving. You also are moving along with the bus, but since your body is at rest, it moves backward. Just imagine this is you, right? You are here only, but the bus made you move forward, but you are in the sitting position. So you tend to be in that position only when the bus moves forward. That is why you feel that you are moving back, right? Another example, this is a very good one which you might have tried in these days. You all play carom, right? Suppose if you arrange all the coins or the pawns of the carom in a straight line, in a vertical manner, and you try to hit the bottom pawn or a coin of a carom or a bottom pawn by hitting the striker. In some cases, what can happen? Either the whole thing will disturb and fall. Otherwise, in a very rare case, if you have observed, only the last coin is replaced or displaced, where the whole arrangement is intact. You might have come across this situation at least once, anytime, right? So what happens when you hit the bottom when you strike the bottom coin of a carom board, coins of that, all the coins are intact. Only the last coin is struck and it is moved further. That's only because a body continues to be in the state of rest. It is at rest until unless something is compelled to move it. Now, why do those coins have to come down? That's only because of the gravitational force. They tend to come down. One more best example. Magicians and all, what they do is they try to flip the curtain or the tablecloth where all the things are kept on that, making sure that none of the things on the table are fallen down, and they just flip the tablecloth or the table cover. You might have seen this, right? That's again Newton's first law of motion, inertia of rest. The objects are there, it is there only, and only we moved it, but it just came down because of the gravity. One more example, what you can do even at home today, now immediately after seeing this video, is take a glass, right? Take a PAN card or ATM card with the size of the same similar glass which can hold that. Keep that PAN card or ATM card. Now this is a glass, keep a PAN card or ATM card on that. So keep a 2 rupee or a 5 rupee coin. I think 5 rupee coin is much better. Keep a 5 rupee coin on the center of the PAN card. Now just hit the PAN card in such a way that when you hit the PAN card moves, or your ATM card just falls to the other side and the coin drops in the glass, right? You have to do it very carefully. So when you just hit the ATM card there, the coin falls in the glass wherein the card is to the other side. Object at rest continues to be in the rest, right? It falls down only because of gravity. Let's see some examples of inertia of motion. Now you are standing in a moving bus and suddenly the driver applies brake. Now what happens? You are standing holding the holder or anything. Suddenly when he applies brake, what do? You tend to move forward. You tend to jerk forward, right? That's only because when you stand, your lower part of the body is in the contact with the bus, right? Now suddenly when the bus stops, the bus is moving, you are also moving along with the bus. Suddenly when the bus stops, your half of the body comes to rest immediately, but the remaining half of your body is still in the motion, right? What happens? You tend to jerk forward. This part tend to jerk forward. Very rare cases, you yourself go and fall in the front. That's again different, right? Otherwise, our body tends to jerk forward when suddenly brakes are applied. That's again because of Newton's first law of motion, inertia of motion here. Every body continues to be in the state of motion until unless an external force is applied. So we move. We have seen many people who tries to move or jump out of the moving bus or moving train, right? Suppose if the bus is moving in this direction, right, and the person just gets down off the bus. So how do the person after getting down off the bus manages so that he will not fall? Have you ever seen this? Have you also noticed the person who jumps immediately off the bus tries to run few distances in the direction of the bus or a train? That's only because as soon as you jump out of a moving bus, since your body was already in motion, the minute your feet touches the ground, it comes to rest. Correct? But your body was in motion. Suddenly you cannot accept anything. So if you run just few distances along the direction of the bus where you were already going in that direction, you will not fall nor you will get hurt. But in case the bus is moving and you try to go backwards, of course you will fall under the bus or you will get injured. So if you have seen that, they always run towards the direction of a bus just a few distance so that to get a balance or to come out of that thing where your body was in motion. So these are the few examples what we come in our day-to-day life of Newton's first law of motion, that is inertia of rest and inertia of motion. Now, a question asked on this, state Newton's first law of motion. You need to state that. Give examples of Newton's first law of motion. If only examples are asked, you can give any examples, but you need to mention that example is of inertia of rest or inertia of motion, right? That's the main thing what you have to answer here. The next last one thing what we should know about inertia is directly proportional to mass of an object. Now how do you say that inertia is directly proportional to mass of an object? One best example what I will give you here is shot put. You all have played in your school during the athletics meet or a sports event time, right? So you have a shot put, say about it is just a 1 kg shot put, and you have another shot put which is about 4 kg. Now 1 kg shot put wherein you can just lift it and throw it to a particular distance very easily, correct? Mass is less. 4 kg shot put also, if I tell you throw it at the same distance where you have thrown 1 kg shot put, will that be possible? No, it will not be possible because something is set into motion where inertia, that is either rest or motion, acts upon the mass of an object. Hence the mass of an object increases, inertia also increases, what you can say. Mass decreases, inertia also decreases. So that means the motion, the movement depends upon the mass of an object. You have a heavy carton box which has to be pushed, right? Since the mass is more, you are not able to push it. It is moving very slowly or at a very small distance it could move. Since it is a very light carton, you can push it very easily. So inertia directly depends upon the mass of an object. So this is about Newton's first law of motion or law of inertia. So in our next consecutive classes, we will be dealing with Newton's second and third law of motion with few examples. So in today's class, if you have any doubt, you can call on the same day of the video set. Thank you.